He was once called the biggest flop of his generation. Injuries, video games, and missed sitters nearly destroyed his career. But now, Ousmane Dembélé is doing something nobody expected, dominating Europe like never before. How did the most inconsistent talent in world football become the most lethal striker of 2025? The answer will shock you. There's a significant distinction between being a highly skilled player and being a genuinely impactful one. For quite some time, Ousmane Dembélé struggled to translate his undeniable talent into consistent effectiveness on the pitch. It's easy to forget that his transfer to Barcelona remains one of the costliest moves in football history. At the time, it was the second most expensive, trailing only Neymar's record-breaking transfer to PSG. Despite his immense potential, Dembélé wasn't always taken seriously, even in his homeland, France. Many acknowledged his extraordinary ability, recognizing that if he could refine his raw talent, he had the makings of a world-class player, one that could truly be a nightmare for defenders. However, instead of focusing on his on-field contributions, much of the discourse surrounding him revolved around his gaming habits, perplexing interviews, persistent injuries, and even his involvement in a football manager save from the 2018 World Cup. Simply put, for a long period, he was more discussed for his off-the-field antics than his actual footballing displays, mainly because injuries kept him sidelined far too often. His recurring hamstring problems became a defining narrative of his Barcelona stint. When he finally parted ways with the Catalan Giants, it marked the closing of an era that, at times, felt necessary. Under Xavi's guidance in his final seasons at Barcelona, he found a degree of consistency that reignited hope among his admirers. This resurgence made his subsequent move to PSG an intriguing prospect. Yet, despite flashes of brilliance, including a standout performance against his former club in the Champions League, his tenure at the Parisian club initially failed to ignite. However, this year has been different. Not just this season, this entire year. Dembélé now resembles the player he was always tipped to become. He has emerged as the most informed goal scorer in Europe, while simultaneously solving a key tactical problem for Luis Enrique, offering a reliable solution in the striker role, particularly as a center forward. Looking back, it feels like a lifetime ago that Dembélé was a rising star at Stade Rennais and Borussia Dortmund before forcing his way to Barcelona in 2017. His time in Spain was marred by frustrating setbacks, including questions over his professionalism, with former teammates like Luis Suarez reportedly expressing concerns over his training habits. Rumors swirled about late-night gaming affecting his discipline, and ultimately, he became entangled in discussions about Barcelona's financial mismanagement post-Neymar's departure. One of the major criticisms leveled at him was his alarming injury record. He missed over 100 games during his Barcelona tenure, earning the unfortunate nickname Dembulance. At one point, when his contract renewal was up for debate, club director Mateu Alemany publicly suggested that it would be best for him to leave, though Xavi and others within the squad defended his value. He remained at the club for another season, 2022-2023, proving to be one of Barcelona's most crucial attacking assets despite occasional inconsistencies in his finishing and decision-making. In the summer transfer window, Barcelona sought to avoid losing him on a free transfer, but he ultimately made the move to PSG, coinciding once again with Neymar's departure from the club. His early days in Ligue 1 were underwhelming. He admitted that the league had grown more competitive since his last stint in France, and his adjustment period was rough. It took him 12 matches to net his first league goal. His second and third goals arrived in the same game, another 12 matches later. While he managed to rack up 8 assists in his debut season with PSG, the overall impact fell short of expectations. Some questioned whether those expectations were justified. After all, his Barcelona career never quite reached the heights anticipated when he initially signed for the club. However, upon his return to Ligue 1, many assumed that he and Kylian Mbappé would tear through opposition defenses with ease. That didn't materialize, at least not immediately. Luis Enrique, who had high hopes for him, was left frustrated with his inconsistency. That changed when PSG faced Barcelona. The occasion seemed to spark something in him. Carrying the weight of past tensions with his former club, compounded by issues involving his agent, contract negotiations, and fan reactions, Dembélé delivered a statement performance. He scored in both legs of the Champions League tie, helping PSG secure a thrilling 6-4 aggregate victory. Within the same 2-week period, he also netted a brace in Ligue 1, signaling a potential turning point in his form. Heading into the new season, his role at PSG became even more prominent, particularly with Mbappe's impending departure. Unlike the club's previous strategy of signing high-profile, marketing-driven stars, a model club president Nasser Al-Khelaifi described as the bling-bling era, PSG had shifted toward a more structured sporting approach, emphasizing young talents and homegrown academy prospects. With many of the club's established superstars moving on, Dembélé found himself in a leadership role, not necessarily as a vocal presence, but as someone expected to set the tone through his performances. And at the start of the season, it seemed like he was finally fulfilling that promise. Ousmane Dembélé started this season in electrifying form, registering 8 goal contributions in his first 6 league appearances. But just when it seemed like he had finally turned a corner, things unraveled as autumn transitioned into winter. First came his exclusion from PSG's trip to London for their Champions League clash against Arsenal in early October. Luis Enrique made it clear Dembélé was not meeting the team's standards. His blunt reasoning? If a player does not respect the team's expectations, it means they are not prepared to play. I made the best decision for the squad, and that's why I'm here, to build a team with a strong identity and character. His troubles didn't end there. Against Bayern Munich, with PSG already trailing, Dembélé received a red card, further frustrating Enrique. His response? A mere 17-minute cameo in PSG's next match against Nantes. When questioned about the decision, Enrique doubled down. I want players who are ready to fight and show their best selves. Speculation of tardiness in training resurfaced, and soon, he found himself benched against Auxerre as well. But in mid-December, something clicked. Despite his rocky spell, Dembélé had started the season well, and his internal issues with Enrique seemed to smooth out as winter deepened. December 15th marked a turning point. PSG's 3-1 victory over Lyon ignited an unstoppable scoring run. After netting 3 goals in December, Dembélé exploded in 2025, scoring in every single match he played. That's 8 consecutive games, amassing an astonishing 15 goals, more than any other player in Europe's top 5 leagues during that period. Even more impressive, he did it while playing fewer matches than most of his competitors. Yes, 15 goals in just 8 games. His performances weren't just prolific, they were historic. He became the first PSG player ever to score back-to-back hat-tricks, achieving the feat against Stuttgart and Stade Brestois. He then followed that up with consecutive braces, dismantling AS Monaco and Stade Brestois in the Champions League. His goals per minute ratio in 2025? A staggering 40.92 minutes per goal, a figure no one else has come close to touching. Consider the elite names trailing him: Patrick Schick, Mohamed Salah, Lautaro Martinez, Kylian Mbappe, Rafinha, Rodrigo. None have been able to match his goal tally this year. This is the same player who, in the past, had a reputation for missing sitters from just a few yards out. Now, he looks like he couldn't miss even if he tried. But what truly makes this transformation remarkable is where he's playing. For years, Dembélé was exclusively deployed on the right wing, yet now he has transitioned into a central role. Flanked by Kvicha Kvaratskhelia on the left and Bradley Barcola on the right, he has become PSG's unexpected solution at center forward. This shift was never part of PSG's original plan. They struggled to find a consistent number 9, with Goncalo Ramos and Randall Kolo Muani failing to cement their place. No one foresaw Dembélé stepping up to fill the void. And yet, here he is, dominating as PSG's main striker. While his newfound clinical finishing may come as a shock, the fact that he's central to PSG's success isn't surprising at all. Dembélé has always possessed the raw materials needed to become an elite player: blistering pace, dazzling footwork, intelligent movement, and a sharp eye for creating chances. What he had lacked was consistency, composure, professionalism, and durability, the final puzzle pieces that now seem to have fallen into place. Barcelona's valuation of him was absurdly high at the time of his transfer, and the club's mismanagement under Josep Maria Bartomeu didn't help his case. But their faith in his potential wasn't entirely misplaced. They saw the blueprint of a generational talent. Luis Enrique, recognizing his evolution, recently stated, "Ousmane can become whatever player he wants to be. If he stays confident in front of goal, he has no equal. He can score from any position, even with his head. He's an incredible player, and when he's in this kind of form, it's a joy for the entire squad." Even Kylian Mbappé, his longtime friend and teammate, isn't surprised by his resurgence. Of course, time will tell how long this streak lasts, but one thing is undeniable. Dembélé has already shattered his career-best goal-scoring records. Beyond just the numbers, his resurgence is a testament to resilience. He was once dismissed as a player who would never fulfill his potential, a perennial what-if. His career overshadowed by injuries and inconsistency. Yet, now he has landed at the right club, at the right time, in the right role, and he's finally proving why the world once placed such sky-high expectations on his shoulders. Is this the version of Dembélé we've been waiting for all along? Or is it just another short burst before the injuries and inconsistency return? Should he now be considered world-class, or does he still have more to prove? Let us know what you think in the comment section. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell for more football stories you won't find anywhere else.